You got the whole thing right. It starts with the rhythm. And that's why I keep preaching all the time African music, Africano. We are very rhythmic people. The way we talk, the way we walk.
Greetings, all you very rare individuals. Welcome to another Afro-Scot podcast. This is episode 30, and we're going to talk about why Africa is great. Specifically, we're going to talk about the musician Lagbaja, common man. Now, who's Lagbaja? He's a interesting guy. He's a musician from Nigeria, and he wears a mask that covers his face, and he does that to show that he's the common man, faceless man, and he's generally speaking to the voiceless members of the public. Personally, when I listen to Lagbaja music, it actually started from when I was young, and my parents would put Lagbaja on like Conco below, and I was really transfixed by his face, the fact that his face was covered, and it made you really want to know about his identity and who he is. Another thing that I really liked about Lagbaja was that his music had that African feel to it. It was very unique and rare. I feel like it was kind of advanced Fela Kuti, because he himself said that Fela Kuti was one of his inspirations too. Of course, when growing up, we were quite scared of Lagbaja as well, because he looked like a masquerade. If you watch those Nollywood movies, where the masquerade just pops out of nowhere. You can't watch a Lollywood movie when we were younger without seeing some masquerade or some type of crazy stuff going on. So I used to always associate his mask wearing with the masquerades, which was quite true. But the older we got, the more we started to kind of relax, because we realized that he was just a human being just like us. But of course, that mask was just an identity coverage, and he said that he can actually walk around to places or even where people are playing his music and not be afraid that somebody knows who he is. So it allows him to have a kind of cool, calm life away from the spotlight when he's got his mask off. That he can actually walk into a bar anywhere with his mask off and no one will know. And even if people who know him were to say that that's Lagbaja, people won't believe, because they're so used to associating Lagbaja with the mask. So I think it's a really cool thing. He's obviously not the first one to do it, but I feel like in Nigeria he's one of the first to really kind of make that popular in Nigerian music, in Nigerian popular culture. Of course, as well, I also like the fact that his music has that nice drum sound to it. Like he says, he's really all about the rhythm and music that kind of makes you want to dance and move your body. You just play any. His story really started that at first he really wanted to get into the music scene and be a musician, but he didn't really have the confidence. Then one day he decided to just don the mask and go into the music scene, and from that day on he decided to go full time with his music. Of course, his parents never really liked it because his mask kind of reminded them of masquerades, as he did come from a Christian home. But after a while, when they realized that Lagbaja wasn't going to get into the kind of escapades that a lot of musicians get into, with women and the fast lifestyle, they finally allowed him to sort of pursue what he really, really wanted to do, and it came out right for him. Another great thing about Lagbaja is the fact that his music represents the Nigerian struggle, the common man struggle in Nigeria, especially with his album called 200 Million Mumu, in which he talks about African leaders and African Nigerian people, and how instead of us blaming the leaders, we should actually look at ourselves, because all this time we've been talking about how the leaders have done so many things, but we never look at ourselves. And he believed that the change starts with the individual, which I find to be really interesting actually. Anytime I was growing up and we put on any Nollywood TV or anything like that on Nigerian TV, back in the days, Lagbaja would come on, and it would just allow you to kind of reminisce on a past, an exciting past, an exciting part of you. Also, a really good, strong part of our culture, Lagbaja, our music culture especially. And he's really inspiring as well. Someone who can use art to mask an identity and create a new one. Very similar to Afro-Scot. And he became very successful traveling around the world and meeting so many different people to America. He's definitely someone to look up to. However, I believe that as Afro-Scots, we should be proud of our identity and use that identity to our advantage. Very similar to how Lagbaja used his own identity to propel him forward and his African identity. Through this, it won't be long till we develop a very strong, powerful, and centered Afro-Scot identity.